The day has 24 hours, or so you believe. But what if I told you that belief is the very chain keeping you blind? What if I revealed that your true power does not live in the busy hours of work or in the light of morning, but in the final fragile seconds before you surrender to sleep? Those last breaths of consciousness hold the key to everything: your future, your destiny, your manifestations. And most people waste them, drowning in worry, regret, or endless distraction. You think time begins at sunrise and ends at sunset. But listen closely, because there is a secret hidden in the night. A secret that only a few ever discover. The moment before sleep is not ordinary. It is the gate. It is the portal. It is the one passage where your conscious mind falls silent, and your subconscious takes command. In that instant, what you plant will grow. What you feel will manifest. What you hand over will be multiplied. This is not theory. This is law. And if you continue to waste that sacred opening, you will repeat the same patterns year after year, never breaking free. But if you dare to use it, if you dare to step into that unseen dimension, you will touch the place where heaven listens without resistance. And here lies the switch. It is not gratitude after the gift. It is gratitude before it arrives. Thank you before it is seen. Thank you before it is real to the senses. This is the force that unlocks provision beyond measure. Not enough to scrape by, not enough to cover the debt, but more than you thought possible, more than you can even hold. The gate swings open only for those who practice this law in the state akin to sleep. This is the realm where imagination becomes divine command, and if you miss it tonight, you forfeit the chance to shape tomorrow. But if you seize it, you will awaken to a life remade. Now, let me ask you a question. What if the very reason you feel stuck is because you have been thinking too late? What if your endless effort is chained to an outdated logic? A logic that says, work first, grind first, bleed first, then maybe reward will come? But what if that entire sequence is upside down? What if the secret has always been that gratitude comes before the gift? Can you see how dangerous it is to ignore this truth? How many years have you been caught in the loop, waking up, running harder, pushing more, only to collapse into the same disappointment? How long will you let that cycle own you? This is not a small mistake. This is the single reason why so many never break through. And you feel it, don't you? Deep down, you know there must be something more. You know the life you want is not meant to stay locked behind struggle. But here is the warning. If you keep entering sleep with worry, replaying failures, doubting tomorrow, you are writing the same story into your subconscious. And your subconscious does not argue. It obeys. It multiplies. It creates what you hand it every night. This is why Neville Goddard declared the final moments before sleep the most powerful moments of your day. He called it SATS, the state akin to sleep, a sacred border where your conscious releases its grip and your subconscious becomes wide open. The question is, what will you plant there? What seed will you dare to drop in that fertile soil of your mind? One man in California stood at this same threshold, his company collapsing, death swallowing every hope. He was finished, yet he chose differently. Instead of replaying ruin each night, he stepped into SATS. He imagined the contract signed. He felt relief as if it was already done. And then he whispered two words, "Thank you." Not after the rescue, not after the money arrived, but before. 6 months later, his company revived with a contract so large it seemed impossible. This is not fantasy. This is law, and you must decide, will you use it, or will you waste another night? Here is your chance to break the chain. Here is your moment to claim the key. You do not need to beg. You do not need to wait. You need only to thank before you see it. to align before it arrives, to hand over the vision in the gate of sleep and let your subconscious open heaven's flow. I am asking you right now, are you ready? Will you dare to step into the mystery? Will you claim what has always been waiting for you? If your answer is yes, then act now. Comment the words, I am ready, and seal it with your own voice. Because when you declare it, you open the portal tonight, Doc. So I ask again, what is it? That makes a single thank you, spoken before the gift, powerful enough to change an entire destiny? What if I told you that the world has been teaching you the wrong sequence all along? What if the very pattern you were trained to follow is the reason your life feels stuck? You have been taught to wait, to receive first, and only then to say thank you. But what if that order is reversed? What if gratitude is not the effect, but the cause? What if gratitude itself is the switch that brings what you desire into existence? Think about it. Every single time someone gives you something, a gift, a favor, a small gesture, you automatically say, thank you. It is expected. It is polite. It is the rule of this world. But what if, in the dimension of spirit, that rule no longer applies? What if, in the unseen law of creation, the entire system is flipped upside down? Instead of thanking after the blessing, you thanked before. Instead of gratitude as a reaction, gratitude becomes creation. It sounds impossible, right? It sounds backward. It sounds like a paradox. But that paradox is the door you have been missing. You may doubt it. You may resist it. But deep inside, you feel the pull. Because what if this was the key? What if this was the reason some people manifest miracles while others keep chasing shadows? You cannot ignore this question. How many times have you begged, prayed, waited, only to see nothing shift? How many nights have you whispered please, without any answer? How many mornings have you woken up into the same reality as yesterday? Does it not shake you to consider that the missing piece was not more effort, not more time, not more struggle, but gratitude before the evidence shows up? This is not theory. This is not wishful thinking. Harvard researchers in 2003 found that gratitude literally rewires your brain, increasing dopamine and serotonin. These are not just chemicals. These are signals to your entire system that activate creativity, motivation, and decisive action. Asterisk. Imagine what happens when you flood your subconscious with that signal before sleep, not after you win, but before you win. Not after the breakthrough, but before it arrives. You are priming your mind. You are programming your future. You are handing the blueprint directly to the subconscious, and the subconscious obeys. A woman in Texas discovered this secret. Her life was collapsing, poverty surrounding her, dreams fading. She felt cornered and hopeless. But she tried something different. For 21 nights, she gave thanks not for what she had, but for what she chose to believe she would receive. She imagined herself walking through a campus. She felt the pride of holding her acceptance letter. She whispered thank you into the night, not once after it came, but every single time before. And on the 22nd day, the letter arrived. She had won a full scholarship, a life redirected by the power of gratitude before the gift. Do you see it? Can you feel it? This is the law in action. Gratitude before sight. Gratitude before proof. Gratitude as the force, not the echo dot. So I ask you, why are you still waiting? Why are you still holding back? Why are you still repeating the old pattern that keeps you locked in lack? What excuse can you give when you now know that the law has been revealed? If you want your life to turn, if you want your story to bend toward abundance, then act now, not tomorrow, not later, now. If you feel this truth stirring inside of you, if you sense the urgency, then take a step. Declare it. Seal it in the comments with the words, thank you before. because that declaration is not for me, it is for you. It is your subconscious hearing your own command. It is you proving to yourself that you are ready for reversal, Dot. So let me ask one final time. How do we truly feel something that is not yet visible? How do we summon the sensation of a miracle before it comes? How do we step into that state where thank you becomes the cause and not the effect? What if I told you that the most powerful gate to your destiny opens not in the daylight, not in the hours of noise and effort, but in the final fragile moment before sleep? What if the last thought you carry into the night decides the entire shape of your tomorrow? You think falling asleep is ordinary. You think it is just rest. But what if it is a sacred passage? What if it is the invisible portal where your conscious mind releases its grip and your subconscious takes the throne? The truth is simple. The moment before you sleep is not the end of the day. It is the beginning of creation. It is the hidden gate. Neville Goddard called this state SATS, the state akin to sleep. It is the space between waking and dreaming, a delicate threshold where your awareness softens, your body relaxes, and your inner world becomes more powerful than the outer world. Have you noticed how your thoughts rush wildly when you lay in bed? Your mind replays failures. Your fears whisper. Your stress repeats. And then you drift away. What you do not realize is that those chaotic patterns are the very seeds you are planting into the fertile ground of your subconscious every night. And your subconscious never argues. It accepts. It obeys. It multiplies. So the question is, what are you handing it? Are you handing it fear, doubt, regret? Or are you handing it victory, gratitude, vision? The choice is yours. Science has confirmed what mystics already knew. In 2017, a study published in the Neuroscience Journal revealed that during this twilight state, the brain enters theta waves. This is not random. This is design. Theta waves unlock heightened suggestibility, increased imagination, and the ability to imprint lasting memories. In other words, SATS is the perfect moment to program your future. If you miss it, you hand over your power. If you seize it, you write destiny itself. Imagine a New York athlete standing at this very threshold, his career hanging in the balance, competition fierce, doubts everywhere. But each night before sleep, he stepped into SATS. He pictured himself victorious. He felt the weight of the medal. He heard the roar of the crowd. He lived it before it happened. He whispered gratitude as if it was already real. And 1 year later, he stood on the podium, gold around his neck, victory no longer imagined, but lived. This is the gate. And it belongs to you too, Can you see the urgency? Can you feel the weight of this truth? Tonight, when you lie down, the choice will come again. Will you waste the sacred moment with noise? Or will you step into the hidden passage and plant the seed of your tomorrow? This is not about hoping. This is not about waiting. This is about choosing what to hand your subconscious. Because your subconscious is the builder, the architect, the silent creator that never sleeps. If you want transformation, if you want breakthrough, if you want the unseen forces of life to conspire in your favor, then you must master SATS. You must learn to let the conscious mind fall silent and allow imagination to speak as the voice of creation. So I ask you right now, are you ready to turn your sleep into the workshop of miracles? Are you ready to turn your bed into the factory of destiny? If the answer is yes, then act. Seal this choice by pressing the heart. Declare with your action that you will never waste another night, because every night is a chance to reshape your world. So, I ask one final question. If SATS is the gate, if this state before sleep is the secret passage, then what is the exact process to step through it? What is the precise method to walk into this invisible realm and create? What if the first step to creating everything you desire was not doing more, but doing less? What if the power to change your destiny did not begin with action, but with stillness? Have you ever noticed how your body feels at the end of a long day? Your shoulders tight, your breath shallow, your mind racing with unfinished tasks and heavy worries. You collapse into bed, but your body is still in battle, your mind still in noise. And then you wonder why nothing shifts, why your nights are restless and your mornings exhausted. You have been trained to push harder, to run faster, to chase longer. But let me tell you this: to create, you must first stop. To manifest, you must first pause. To build the life you dream, you must first slow everything down, because only in stillness does the subconscious open. Only in stillness does the gate appear. Imagine right now, lying in bed, your jaw unclenching, your chest softening, your hands resting loose, your breath slowing in rhythm. 4 in, hold 7. Out 8. This is the 4-7-8 technique. Studied at Harvard Medical School and proven to reduce cortisol, the stress hormone that keeps you trapped in fight or flight. With each cycle, your body sinks deeper. Your mind releases its grip. Your awareness drifts from the chaos of the day into a calm readiness. This is not random. This is not weakness. This is alignment. You are shifting from the noise of the conscious into the power of the subconscious. You are preparing the soil where the seed will take root and grow. Do you feel the urgency of this? Do you see why skipping this step keeps you trapped in the same restless loop? One woman in Florida discovered this after 8 long years of insomnia. A single mother, exhausted every night, her body aching, her mind spinning. She found no peace until she began this practice. Night after night, she gave herself permission to slow her breath, to let go, to release tension. Within weeks, her sleep returned. After years of torment, her life began to heal. She discovered that slowing down was not a luxury. It was the key. It was the missing first step. And now I ask you, what would happen if you allowed yourself the same? What would happen if tonight, instead of collapsing into bed, you entered stillness with intention? Would you not finally feel the difference? Would you not sense the opening, the gate forming, the quiet space where your imagination can speak? This is the moment where creation begins. This is where you cross from effort to alignment. But I warn you, if you skip it, if you continue to rush into sleep carrying your stress, you are handing chaos to your subconscious. And chaos is exactly what it will multiply. So let me ask you, why waste another night when peace is waiting? Why ignore the door when the handle is already in your hand? This is your time to choose. If you have ever battled restlessness, if you have ever begged for peace, then claim it now. Write the words "I need peace" in the comments. Not for me, but for you, because your subconscious listens when you declare your choice. Your action tonight becomes the seed of your tomorrow. And now that you know the first step, to slow, to pause, to quiet yourself, the question rises clearly after the silence, after the body is still, after the breath is steady. What words must you speak? What command must you give to turn this silence into creation? So I ask you, what must you say once you have finally become still? What if the entire secret of creation could be captured in just 2 words? What if the key to unlocking your deepest desires was not complicated rituals or endless effort, but something so simple you could whisper it in the dark of night? What if those 2 words have the power to shift your subconscious, to align you with a law greater than any obstacle? Have you guessed them yet? 2 words so common you speak them every day, and yet almost never in the way that changes destiny. 2 words that feel small, but carry infinite weight. The words are, thank you. 2 of the simplest words, yet when spoken in the right state, they become sacred. They become the signature of creation itself. Imagine this: you are lying in bed, your body finally still, your breath calm, your mind quiet, you bring to mind the vision of what you most desire. Not in the future, not as a hope, not as a dream, but as if it has already happened. You see it, you feel it, you hear it. The details are vivid, the emotions alive. And then in that moment, you whisper softly, "Thank you." Not to beg, not to plead, not to ask, but to seal it as already yours. Those two words drop into your subconscious like fire, branding a new reality into your inner world. And your subconscious does not argue. It accepts. It obeys. It multiplies. This is not just mysticism. Science confirms it. In a 10-week study, Professors Emmons and McCullough asked participants to write simple gratitude notes. Their health improved. Their energy rose. Their creativity expanded. Their entire outlook shifted. Why? Because gratitude is more than a feeling. It is a frequency. It signals abundance to your brain. It floods your body with dopamine and serotonin. It primes you to act with confidence, to create with boldness, and to step into a new story. And when you place this gratitude before the evidence, when you give thanks before the blessing, you ignite a law older than time itself. A veteran in Boston discovered this truth. Scarred by memories of war, trapped in the grip of PTSD, he could not escape the images, the fear, the pain, until he tried something different. Each night before sleep, he whispered, "Thank you," not for what he saw, but for what he longed to feel. "Thank you because I am safe. Thank you because I am whole. Thank you because I am free." He said it night after night, even when the shadows screamed otherwise, even when his body resisted. He still whispered, "Thank you." And over time, the nightmares weakened. The fear dissolved. The man who could not sleep without terror began to rest again. After 5 long years, he walked free, not because his past changed, but because his subconscious was given a new command. And it obeyed. Can you feel the urgency of this? Can you sense the power waiting in those 2 words? How many nights have you wasted pouring fear into your subconscious? How many opportunities have you let slip because you carried stress instead of gratitude into the sacred gate of sleep? Tonight you can change it. Tonight you can choose differently. This is your chance to try. This is your invitation to whisper 2 words and watch your life bend to them. Thank you. Not tomorrow. Not later. Tonight. Imagine your greatest desire. Picture it. Hold it. Feel it. Then whisper the seal. Thank you. And trust that your subconscious is already building it for you. If you believe, even a little, that these 2 words can change your story, then act now. Like this video, press the heart, and write in the comments, "Thank you" before, because that choice is not for me. It is for you. It is your subconscious hearing your decision and obeying your own voice. So let me leave you with this thought. What if the real secret is not only about speaking thank you? What if the deeper truth is what happens after? When you let go, when you release, when you finally stop controlling and surrender to the unseen. So I ask you, if the words thank you hold the key, then what if the greater secret is hidden in the art of letting go? What if the greatest power you will ever touch does not come from control, but from release? What if the very act of letting go is the door you have been searching for? Have you noticed how your mind clings to the future? You replay every possibility. You calculate every risk. You grip so tightly to outcomes that your body cannot rest and your spirit cannot breathe. You call it planning. You call it preparing. But deep inside, you know it is fear. It is the illusion of control. And what has it given you? Sleepless nights, anxious mornings, endless cycles of stress. And still, the life you want remains out of reach. So let me tell you the truth. The real power arrives when you stop trying to force it. The real strength comes when you let go, when you release the need to know how and when you trust the seed you already planted to grow without your interference. This is not weakness. This is alignment. This is law. You have spoken your gratitude. You have sealed your vision. Now the next step is surrender, letting the subconscious do what it was designed to do, to organize, to create, to bring into form, without your conscious noise fighting against it. Science itself confirms this. In 2018, the American Psychological Association published findings on letting go therapy. Participants who practiced release saw anxiety drop, confidence rise, and their ability to achieve goals increase. Why? Because when you let go, your mind no longer resists. Your energy no longer fragments. Your focus aligns with the outcome, and the subconscious finally has space to work. Imagine an artist in Los Angeles, once trapped, paralyzed by failure, his career collapsing, his canvas blank. Each night he fought for control. He obsessed over critics. He replayed rejection, and nothing changed until he surrendered. He began to whisper, "Thank you." He imagined his art already celebrated. And then he let go. He stopped controlling the how. He released the when. He trusted the unseen. Within months, his paintings were selling across the world. His career exploded, not because he forced it, but because he allowed it. He discovered that letting go was not the end of creation. It was the key that unlocked it. And now I turn to you. How long will you keep gripping? How long will you keep carrying burdens that were never yours to hold? What might happen if tonight you released them all? What if you handed the weight of tomorrow to your subconscious, to the unseen forces that already know the way? Would you not feel lighter? Would you not sleep deeper? Would you not wake freer? This is the invitation. Let go. Stop rehearsing fear. Stop repeating worry. Stop clutching what you cannot control. Whisper the words, "I allow." In the comments now, declare it, not for me, but for you. Your subconscious listens when you give permission. Your declaration becomes law. So let me ask you directly. Are you ready to release the burden? Are you ready to stop fighting and start trusting? If the answer is yes, then act now. Claim it with your words and your action. Because when you let go, the universe moves. When you surrender, the current carries you. When you release control, creation takes command. So I leave you with this question, one that burns with urgency. If letting go is the final step of the practice, if release is the hidden key, then what transformation will unfold when you repeat this every single night? What destiny will rise when surrender becomes your way of life? What if I told you that every night you are planting seeds, whether you know it or not? What if the thoughts you carry into sleep are the blueprints of your tomorrow? Have you considered that what you do in those final minutes is not harmless habit, but the very script your subconscious will perform when the sun rises? You scroll your phone. You replay the day. You worry about what is missing. And you think it is just routine. But let me warn you, it is not just routine. It is programming. It is planting. And your subconscious will multiply whatever you hand it. Do you realize the danger in that? Do you see why, night after night, your mornings look the same? Your struggles repeat. Your life feels stuck? Because the seed you plant is chaos, not creation. So hear this truth. Each night is the workshop of your future. Every bedtime is a field of soil, waiting for your command. The only question is, what will you plant into it? Will it be fear? Or will it be gratitude? Will it be stress? Or will it be faith? You may doubt the power of habit, but science has already proven it. Duke University revealed that 40% of everything you do each day is habit. Not choice, not intention, but automatic patterns repeated from yesterday. Imagine that almost half of your life is not chosen. It is recycled. And if your nights are wasted in distraction, then half your days are built on distraction too. But if your nights are filled with gratitude before receiving, with the practice of thank you before the blessing, then half your days will be built on abundance, on clarity, on new creation. Do you see how urgent this is? Do you feel the weight of it? Imagine a student in Chicago, crushed by failure, rejected from scholarships, his future hanging by a thread. He decided to try this practice for 90 nights. He entered sleep with gratitude, as if his victory was already here. He pictured his name announced. He felt the pride. He whispered, "Thank you," before it was real. And on the 91st day, everything shifted. He was accepted. Not only did he win the scholarship, he rose to become valedictorian, the top of his class. His life turned not because of chance, but because of the habit he built, because of the seed he planted every single night. What would happen if you did the same? What might shift if you chose not 7 months, not 90 days, but just 7 nights to test this truth? Would you not want to know? Would you not want to see the difference for yourself? So I challenge you. Begin tonight. Whisper, "Thank you" before the gift. Picture the life you choose. Plant it into the silence of your subconscious. And repeat it for 7 nights. In return, share your result. Declare your proof with the community. Because your voice will not only confirm your power, it will inspire others who are ready to step into their . So let me ask you, why waste another night? Why surrender to distraction when you hold in your hands the code to shape your destiny? Every night is a chance. Every night is a seed. Every night is your future, waiting for instruction. So choose wisely. Because what you plant tonight, you will harvest tomorrow. And now, let me leave you with the next question. If gratitude opens the flow, if thank you before is the gate, then from where does that abundance come? What is the source behind the stream that never runs dry? What if everything you have been told about reality is upside down? What if the world convinced you that matter comes first, that money decides your worth, that circumstances dictate your choices, that what you see and touch controls who you are and what you can become? But what if that is the greatest lie of all? What if the truth is not that matter creates consciousness, but that consciousness creates matter? What if your mind is not a servant of the physical, but the master of it? What would change if you truly believed that, if you lived it, not as a theory, not as a slogan, but as the foundation of your life? Think about it. How many times have you surrendered your power to what you could see? How often have you said, "I cannot because I do not have"? How often have you waited for the job, the money, the opportunity, before you allowed yourself to believe, before you allowed yourself to act? Has that strategy ever freed you? Or has it kept you chained to circumstances that never shift? Now is the time to see the reversal. Now is the time to step into the law that consciousness comes first. Quantum physics itself whispers this truth. In the double-slit experiment, particles of light and matter behave differently when observed. When consciousness pays attention, the result changes. Reality bends under awareness. The act of observing collapses possibility into form. What does that mean for you? It means your focus, your awareness, your inner vision is not powerless. It is causal. It is the force that shapes what matter will become. Your life is not waiting for the world to decide. Your life is waiting for you to choose what you will observe, what you will declare, what you will feel. So let me ask you, why keep living as if you are trapped? Why keep handing the pen to circumstance when it was always yours to hold? A startup founder in Silicon Valley discovered this truth when he was drowning in debt, investors turning away, doors closing, his company collapsing. He could have surrendered to the evidence. He could have let matter dictate his mind. But he chose differently. Each day, he lived in the state of vision, as if the funding was already secured. He carried gratitude for deals not yet signed. He felt the relief of contracts already closed. And then he released control. He trusted his consciousness to create form. Within months, his company raised $2 million. The very doors that were sealed flew open, not because of luck, not because matter shifted on its own, but because his consciousness carved a new reality. This is the law at work. So I turn it to you. Do you dare believe that you are the creator? Do you dare step into the seat of power that has always been yours? Or will you remain chained to the illusion that matter rules you? This is your choice right now. Not tomorrow, not later, but in this moment. Are you willing to declare, I create? Are you willing to type the words, I build, I shape, I design my destiny? Because that declaration is not for me. It is for your subconscious to hear. It is for you to affirm what has always been true. Your awareness decides, your focus commands. Your consciousness is the architect of your world. So why wait? Why doubt? Why delay? Every second you spend handing power to matter is another second stolen from your true design. It is time to reclaim it. It is time to remember that you are the cause and the world is the effect. So let me leave you with this question. If you are truly the creator, if consciousness comes first, then what is it inside you that still resists? What fear? What doubt? What hidden belief keeps you from living as the builder of your own destiny? What if the greatest enemy holding you back is not the world outside, but the hesitation inside? What if every dream delayed, every opportunity lost, every chance ignored has not been stolen by others, but buried by your own postponement? How many times have you said, tomorrow? How many times have you whispered, later? How many times have you watched the window open, only to close again, while you stood frozen? The truth is brutal. Procrastination is not harmless. It is silent destruction. It is the thief of destiny. It is the weight that keeps you chained to the same place, while life moves on without you. You feel it, don't you? That heavy pull, that endless loop of knowing what you should do, but never doing it. You tell yourself you are not ready. You tell yourself the time is not right. You tell yourself the fear will fade, but the fear grows, and the habit deepens, until years pass, and nothing changes. So let me ask you, how much longer will you let delay be your master? How much longer will you bow to fear while your future waits in vain? The secret to breaking this chain is not force. It is not more pressure. It is gratitude. Gratitude before the victory. Gratitude before the proof. Gratitude is the trigger to act now. When you give thanks in advance, you rewire your brain. Neuroscience reveals that positive emotions release dopamine in the prefrontal cortex, the part of your mind that drives motivation and decision-making. Gratitude is not passive. It is fuel. It is fire. It is the chemical push that turns intention into movement. When you whisper thank you, as if the success is already yours, you trick your fear. You disarm your hesitation. You awaken the courage to step forward. This is not fantasy. It is science. It is proven. And it works. A nurse in Seattle, trapped in depression and procrastination, discovered this secret. She had dreams of building her own healthcare startup, but every night, fear told her no. Every day, hesitation held her down. She was stuck until she began the practice of thank you before. She imagined her company alive. She felt the relief of patients healed. She whispered gratitude as if it was already here. And then something shifted. Her fear weakened. Her motivation surged. Her hesitation broke. Within months, she launched her startup. Within a year, She was thriving, her life remade, not because fear disappeared, but because gratitude gave her the courage to act before fear could stop her. And now, I ask you directly, how many more chances will you watch slip through your fingers? How many more nights will you go to sleep replaying the same excuses? When will you rise? When will you step out? When will you declare, enough is enough? This is your moment. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. If you have ever delayed, if you have ever let fear rob you, then this is the time to act. Comment the words, act now. Let your subconscious hear the command. Let it know you are done with waiting. You are done with delay. Asterisk, because once you declare it, you have already stepped into motion. This is how you break free. This is how you win. So let me leave you with this haunting question. If you are truly the creator, if you hold the power to act and shape destiny, then how will you stay authentic? How will you remain true to your higher self while walking the line between vision and illusion? What if the greatest prison you will ever face is not built by walls, but by the expectations of others? What if the invisible chains that hold you down are the opinions, the judgments, the silent demands of society that whisper who you should be, how you should act, what you should want, and who you must please? How long have you lived by those rules? How many times have you silenced your own truth just to fit in? How many years have you carried a mask to win approval while your soul waits in the shadows? Authenticity is not about meeting their expectations. Authenticity is about living in alignment with your own higher self. Authenticity is not about being perfect. It is about being real. It is about standing in the fire of vulnerability and refusing to bow. It is about saying, I choose my truth, even if the world does not clap. Do you feel the urgency of this? Do you see how much life is wasted trying to please a society that will never be satisfied? You bend yourself into shapes. You break your own voice. You live for applause that fades in seconds. And still, you wonder why you feel empty. But here lies the secret. Your true power awakens the moment you stop performing and start living from your soul. Research proves it. Brené Brown, in Daring Greatly, revealed that vulnerability is not weakness. It is strength. It is the courage to be seen without the mask. It is the boldness to say, this is me, and I will not hide. And when you step into that power, you unlock the force of authenticity. You become untouchable because you no longer play by their rules. You no longer dance for their approval. You live for something higher, your higher self. Imagine a CEO in New York, once known as the steel leader, hard, cold, untouchable, feared by his team, admired for results, but hollow inside, until one day he chose differently. He stripped off the mask. He spoke with honesty. He admitted mistakes. He shared fears and pain. He allowed his humanity to be visible, and something shifted. His leadership exploded, not with fear, but with trust. Not with force, but with influence. He became a speaker, a guide, a source of inspiration. His voice traveled beyond boardrooms into stadiums across the world. He discovered that his greatest impact came not from the armor, but from authenticity. And I ask you, how much longer will you wear the mask? How much longer will you play the part while your soul cries for release? When will you finally dare to live as you are, not as they demand, but as you truly are? This is your invitation. This is your moment to choose. You can keep performing, or you can start living. You can keep pleasing, or you can start creating. If you feel this truth, if you know deep inside that you are ready, then write it. Declare it. Speak it. Comment the words, I choose authenticity right now. Because when you declare it, you give your subconscious the permission it has been waiting for. You open the door for your higher self to take command, Asterisk. This is not just about you. This is about every person who will be freed when they see you living real, when they see you daring to be true, when they see you shine without the mask. So I ask you one final question, with urgency burning in my words. What will happen when you no longer split your life into fragments? What will happen when your emotions, your thoughts, and your actions are no longer at war, but united? What will rise when you finally merge with your higher self? What if, the moment you whisper thank you before receiving, you stop searching, you stop chasing, you stop begging? What if, in that instant, you no longer look for the answer, because you become the answer? What if this is the very shift that turns your entire story upside down? The journey has brought you here, from doubt to practice, from hesitation to trust, from imagining to becoming. Do you feel it? The transformation is already alive inside you. It began the night you first gave thanks before the gift. It grew each time you surrendered to the unseen. It expanded each night you chose gratitude over fear. And now, it is no longer a practice. It is your identity. When you live in this state, you no longer wait for miracles. You embody them. You no longer hope for change. You are the change. Thousands of case studies from Neville Goddard students prove it over and over again. People at rock bottom, people crushed by failure, people standing in ruin. And yet, by stepping into this law, their lives flipped from despair to abundance, from lack to overflow, from emptiness to purpose. And this is not history. This is happening now. In San Francisco, a small group chose to test it together. They committed to 30 nights of thank you before, 30 nights of planting gratitude into the soil of their subconscious. And what happened? 80% reached their goals: jobs, promotions, relationships, healing, breakthroughs that once felt impossible, unlocked in a single month. Not because the world suddenly changed, but because they changed. They became . And now, the question turns to you. What will your story be? Will you keep standing on the edge? Or will you step through the gate? Will you keep watching others transform? Or will you claim your own destiny? This is not just another video. This is an invitation. This is the door swinging wide open for you. Right now. So if you feel the fire, if you sense the urgency, if you know deep down that this truth belongs to you, then act. Comment the words, I have become. Declare it with your voice, because your subconscious hears and obeys. And when you write it, you seal it, and do more. Share this message. Let others touch what you have touched. Let your action become the seed for another life changed. Press the like button to anchor this in your mind. Subscribe so you never lose the path. So you stay in the flow of creation. So every new teaching, every new revelation continues to build your momentum. This is how you join the circle. This is how you stay aligned. This is how you rise. So I ask you, with all urgency burning in my words, why would you delay? Why would you let another night pass when you could begin tonight? When you could shape tomorrow before your head even touches the pillow? You know the truth now. You hold the key. You have walked the journey from confusion to clarity, from searching to becoming . So the only question left is this. Will you begin now? Will you step into the power waiting at the edge of sleep? Will you declare, thank you before, and awaken to the life you are meant to live? The choice is yours, and the time is now. So tell me, are you ready to begin tonight?